Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this session today. My name is Kevin Usher. I'm the Director for Solutions Development for Avid in EMEA. And my goal this afternoon actually is to talk a little bit around some of the Avid solutions around workflow, file-based workflows. I'm also going to talk about some new solutions that we announced at NAB this year as well in around management solutions, particularly actually around a new client application for our Interplay solution called Interplay Central. But these are kind of the highlights of the things that I'd like to talk about today. So the Avid Media Access, which is the integration of devices that we can connect like cameras to Media Composer to get real-time access to files on removable devices, removable storage devices that is. Integrated Media Enterprise. I'd like to kind of share with you a little bit about what this is. It's actually more than a concept. It's actually a customer's business vision and how Avid are going to fit into this. And then touch on production management solutions from Avid, our media asset management solutions, and then just wrap up with a discussion around this Interplay Central solution that we announced at NAB. So to jump right into it, we're trying to solve some pretty complex problems with workflow. It's more than just solving workflow problems with individual products, like the editors. We're trying to solve complete end-to-end solutions, whether it's acquisition all the way through to archiving. And obviously everybody's moving towards more file-based workflows now, and this is a big challenge. And so these are some of the things that Avid have been working on for quite some time at an individual product level, but across the whole product family to try and get tighter integration, more seamless integration support for all these different file format flavors that we keep seeing on the market. So back around about version 4 of Media Composer, a couple of years ago more or less now, we developed this plugin architecture for Media Composer called the Avid Media Access. Now this was designed to support new file-based formats that were coming on the market. Historically, up to that point, as new file formats were coming out from the camera vendors, Avid was always many months behind supporting and accommodating those formats. So the AMA architecture was our way of being able to accelerate the adoption of those camera formats and support them as quickly as we could when that new camera came to market. So from the initial launch of the AMA architecture to where we are now, supporting P2, XD-Cam, EX, RED, GF-Cam, and now through the latest Media Composer release through MXFOP1A files and QuickTime. So we've made some tremendous progress over the last 2 or 3 software releases with Media Composer that really opens up the front end of Media Composer to these file formats more than we've ever possibly done before. Fundamentally, the mechanism here is around almost like watch folders. If you connect a removable device or camera or something like that to the Media Composer, it automatically creates the bin and populates the content of the bin with the media. So we can actually play in real time off that external storage device. And this is also, whilst the drive is mounted, the contents of the bin are fully playable, editable, without any additional import steps. So with these particular codecs that we're currently supporting, you can actually play in real time. We have a little bit of work to do on, I think it's AVC HD. That's still currently an import process, but we've got some work in progress that will hopefully resolve that in a future release of Media Composer. But I think supporting things like OP1A and QuickTime are some really significant steps in opening up the architecture of Media Composer. And at any point in time, if you want to actually transfer the contents from that external device, that camera drive, onto either locally attached storage or onto shared storage like the Avid ISIS product family, it's very easy to do that through an optimized transfer process. It really consists of 2 core plugins. There's one that's actually media stream aware. This is really around the media application. So if you can imagine within the Avid product architecture, we handle files as what we call OP atom files. So if, for example, a QuickTime file comes in or a P2 file comes in, we actually unwrap it and we put the metadata into the bin and we put the media files, we separate them out individually into video and the separate audio tracks into the media files folder. So in effect, actually, although you can't see this, it actually is an automated process that automatically separates out, populates the bin with the associated metadata, and then also puts the media files in the appropriate media files folder for the Media Composer. So that's just a very simple analogy of how we actually how the process actually works. So again, from the early days of introducing the AMA architecture, and as we've moved along over the last few releases, we've really extended out the reach for different camera types, different format flavors, MXF, QuickTime, and new ones. The interesting thing now actually is because this is a software development kit, we've now provided it to partners and they do the development work themselves. We are no longer having to do that development work on behalf of the camera vendors. So as Sony or Panasonic or Canon or others are developing new cameras or camera formats, when they launch that product, they can also create the AMA plugin for the Media Composer to go with that camera. And it's not tied to a particular Avid editor release. So this really accelerates the support of those new formats much more quickly than we've ever been able to do before. On the same theme as file-based ingest, not from just the AMA and Media Composer architecture, I also want to touch on a thing called the Avid Media Toolkit. Over the years, Avid have tried to extend out their openness of their product solutions, and one of the ways that we've done this is by delivering this Media Toolkit. Again, it's a software development kit. Any developer can apply for this. It really allows you to create Avid native media. So it allows us to read and write Avid native OP-Atom files, along with the wrapper, the advanced authoring format, the metadata. And it really also provides a codec family that comes along with it. This is just not about a wrapper and a solution to unwrap from different formats. This is actually also a codec family as well. So it's a pretty extensive toolkit to allow third parties to write and read media. And so far, and this is just kind of some examples, Morg, NLTech, OpenCube have all written and actually developed products to connect to Avid shared storage systems directly using this Media Toolkit. Historically, before the Media Toolkit, we'd have to put a thing called a transfer service or transfer engine between their device and the Avid system. So it would be another piece of hardware, another piece of software. Now they can write natively straight to the Avid storage system. So again, another example of how we've kind of brought more file-based integration with Avid systems. In terms of how we create the AMT, again, we're going to have some metadata, the AAF file. That's going to go into, in this example here, the Interplay system. This is where we're storing all the metadata that's stored for all the media that's stored on our shared storage system, in this case, the ISIS system. The media files, the MXF files, are written to the shared storage. And in addition to this, those two blue lines there represent the basic AMT process. But there's also the opportunity with the Interplay system to support web services as well. So we have another mechanism of reading and writing metadata into the Interplay database. So it's a pretty extensive combination of points of integration that you have just between what we've done with Media Composer, with Avid Media Access, and with Media Toolkit. But if you also add web services, this extends out the openness of the Avid system much more than we've ever done before. And in fact, every new product solution, particularly around the kind of core elements like Interplay, our media asset management system, our newsroom system, all new product developments now will include a web services solution to allow third parties to integrate, read or write content to the Avid system. Many applications for the Avid Media Toolkit, from file-based ingest, just extracting audio clips, for example, in a large broadcast environment where you have a lot of video and audio media. Sometimes the radio part of the organization just wants the audio files. So there's all sorts of things that you can actually use and build around the Media Toolkit, and it's actually quite a versatile development kit. So changing gear, I want to kind of just very briefly just highlight one of the sort of most important things that you're going to be hearing from Avid now as we go forward. This is something called the Avid Integrated Media Enterprise. And I think it's very, very important to point out that this is not a product. It's actually a business framework. As you'll see in the next slide, actually, it just enlarges this little diagram here. But in effect, what we're trying to do here is we will build product solutions where we can to support the concept of this integrated media enterprise. This is the customer's business. And what we're trying to do is develop appropriate solutions across our portfolios to support key areas of their business. Whether it's editing, whether it's storage, whether it's management, whether it's ingest or playback, all the parts where we feel that we can play a role, we will continue to drive that. But this is really, as I say, it's a business framework. It's more than a concept. This is really what our customers are aspiring to achieve. It is a complete integrated media enterprise, the ability to manage assets from acquisition all the way through to archive, for the whole life cycle of that content. So just blowing up the diagram, there's probably nothing in this particular diagram here that you haven't already seen somewhere else before. You know, from creative tools like Media Composer and Symphony, third-party integration. We have many, many partners that we work with in terms of areas that we don't have product solutions for. And in some cases, we have no intention of developing those products, so we have to develop integration. Excuse me. As we take a closer look at our MAM solution, our Media Asset Management solution, we're starting to take a deeper look into integration of back-office business systems as well. This is more than just looking at the production management system now. It really goes way outside of that and starts looking at integration with scheduling systems, rights management systems, other vendors' product solutions, where we have to be able to search, find, manage, and even move those assets for the entire enterprise. And this is something that we acquired a company called Blue Order about 2 years ago, and we're starting to sort of build our whole product solution now into the MAM space. And you'll see in a moment that a combination of Interplay production and Interplay media asset management will help us fulfill the whole range of different requirements for media asset management. I should also kind of point out as well that the change that we're going to start to see over the next few years, we're currently and have been shipping for a number of years now these production solutions that are tied around Avid core software and Avid core hardware. But going forwards, our customers are looking for much more open solutions. They want more choice. They want to use different vendors' applications. They may be using service providers. They may have moved certain solutions onto the cloud. There's a whole range of different things that may happen over the next few years. And we're no longer, looking at building out bespoke solutions. So as we are today, we're very system-centric. You have a dedicated system from Avid, our storage, real-time storage that's tuned for media networks, our Interplay production management system, and fantastic solutions, and they will continue to be developed out. But going forwards over the next few years, it's going to change. We're moving towards a more content-centric platform. Shared resources, much more flexible workflows, different types of technologies from different vendors. The cloud will definitely play a role in this, whether it's a private cloud or the public cloud, combination of both possibly, but something that's going to be very highly flexible and adaptable. Now, there's no real sort of specific time frame on this, and it's not suddenly just going to happen overnight. You're going to start to see this transitioning. So as Avid start developing new products, you'll start to see technologies being introduced which will support this vision of the integrated media enterprise.